Hey guys, sorry about that. Let's try that again. Hopefully, we're good to go now. Yeah, so let's talk about the Braves last night one more time. Obviously, they didn't pull out the win, 7-3 loss versus the Dodgers, but at the end of the day, they're still in it. They have a very good chance of winning the series. And to be honest with you, I'm more confident with Max Fried and Ian Anderson in a Game 6 scenario than I am a bullpen game in Game 5. I truly am more confident in that. So with that said, I hope that we win this one. I don't want to go to a Game 7, not because I don't think we can win it, but I would rather us take our chances in a Game 7 or a Game 6 and then go to a Game 7 and risk elimination. I would much rather do it that way. So I think that's kind of everybody's mood going into today. So can that happen? Absolutely, it can happen. There are plenty of arms that there are plenty of arms that we didn't really use last night. I mean, obviously AJ Minter emptied the tank last night, but there are plenty like Shane Green only saw minimal time last night. We have plenty of arms in the pen after last night, but also Max Fried's on the mound, and you got to believe he's going 6 innings if possible. They're going to try. The Dodgers are going to try to stretch him out and make that not happen. But that's what's he's going to try to do. And if he does it, then Ian Anderson will probably do it in Game 7 if we get that far. But there are plenty of there are plenty of options that the Braves have for the staff tonight. Tyler Sohn asks, if we advance, do you think Minter is getting another start? I'm not opposed to it. I've thought Minter all year long was a guy that we could count on out of the pen, possibly for multiple innings. We didn't really see that much. Sorry, guys, I dropped something. We didn't really see that much this year, but I've thought that all year long that he was a guy that we could count on out of the pen for multiple innings. With that said, do I think he could get another start? I think he could. I think he's proved himself. I said that a couple days ago. I think AJ Minter has proven himself all year long, and I think he proved himself in the postseason the other day. Do you think we could see Inoa? I don't know. He kind of emptied the tank on Inoa kind of emptied the tank in Game 3. That's the game I was at. Saving the bullpen, and it's a good thing he did because of what we saw yesterday. We used everybody in the bullpen. So I'm not sure if he's recovered from that. I believe he had like 4 innings pitched or something like that. So I don't know what his regimen truly is. It wouldn't surprise me if we saw him for an inning or two, but I don't think we're going to see him in a 4-inning fashion, especially with Fried on the mound. I think we're going to see Fried, and then hopefully we'll see Fried for 6 innings, and then we'll see a 1-2-3 to finish it off, some combination. But I don't think we see Minter, obviously. Something tells me we don't see Will Smith. I might be wrong on that, but after last night, I just if we have a chance to win, I don't know that we see him, unfortunately. But I do think that I do think that we're going to have plenty to see. I think there's going to be plenty of arms come out of the pen if need be. But also, I think we're going to have success either today or tomorrow. I truly do. The Braves are set up to really perform today. They got their ace on the mound. Max Fried is the ace, and even if he doesn't have his stuff, they still have plenty to move any forward. Before I move any further, do me a favor, guys. Go ahead and like this video so that more Braves fans find it. And of course, if you're not subscribed already, go ahead and do that so you know right when I go live. Okay. But yeah, let me get into some more of these questions. Yeah, he threw over 90 pitches. I thought we had it last night, man. Early on, I didn't have a chance to really watch the game. I was actually at work. But early on, I thought that we did too in the first few innings. I did think that when Mookie caught that ball, I had a feeling that I just had a feeling that the momentum might be lost. And of course, that's what ended up happening. The offensive momentum was kind of gone. Yeah, it's Snit's birthday today, so it would be a good day to win it and move to the World Series. That would be a great day for Snit and for just overall. Would you think we might see a Inoa Minter combination in Game 4 of the World Series? Yeah, if Kyle Wright doesn't have a Game 3 like he did, I think that's certainly possible. We had to use Inoa to save the pen just in general in Game 3. So I think if Kyle Wright can save the pen and not give up 11 runs in 1 inning, I think that could happen. But if that was to happen, of course, Noah would come in by default. But yeah, I think we could for sure. I think those two guys are guys that we can count on. I think they've proven themselves down the stretch of the season, of course, in the postseason so far. I'm trying to make sure I didn't miss anybody. I don't believe I did. Hey, what's up, NXG Days? Tyler Duncan, I like being the away team in the series because we can strike first with that powerful 1-2-3 and put more pressure on the Dodgers. Yeah, the Braves are undefeated when they're the visitors so far. So, yeah, I like the fact that we can strike first too, especially with Acuna leading off. He's always got the potential to, hit a homer and get that early run. We've seen that so many times today. So many times, over the past 3 years or so. So, yeah, I like that too. I like, you got Acuna out the gate, you got Freddie at 2, and you got Marcell Ozuna at 3, who's just a spark plug in the lineup. So, yeah, I like that too, and it really shows, hey, our offense, our offense is one of the best in the league, and I think they're proving that. I mean, look, guys, if the Braves can beat Walker Buehler and the Braves can beat Clayton Kershaw, in the postseason, they can beat anybody. Today, it'll, of course, be Walker Buehler again. So I would, of course, like to see that today. Is Buehler's blister still bothering him? That I actually don't know. Is Buehler's blister still bothering him? I don't know the situation. I would imagine there's still some remnants of it. I doubt it's as bad. He's had a few days to, kind of, heal and get that situation dealt with. I don't know if it's still bothering him, but to be honest with you, I don't know how much it really affected him. I mean, of course, he didn't have the feeling in his finger, but I don't know how much it really bothered him. To tell you the truth, he had a decent performance the other day. I don't know that it was really so much of a factor. To tell you the truth, but that's all for that's headline news these days in postseason baseball. So I don't know how much it's affecting him. I would be curious to know that too. Unrelated, Bama or UGA tonight? I'm going, and this is going to be mad. Y'all are going to be mad, but I'm going with Alabama tonight, courtesy of Nick Saban. I'm going with Alabama tonight. The guy battled COVID this week. He wants to be there. I think it's going to be Nick Saban taking the win tonight over Kirby Smart. I do. Do you think d'Arnaud should have gotten some time off or moved farther back in the lineup? Dude just looks exhausted. No, I don't. I think he did get some time off. They took him out in game 3, I believe, and put Flowers in. But yeah, Tyler Flowers to me just doesn't have the same potential to do damage as Travis d'Arnaud does. I would much rather him be in the lineup. Frankly, what you don't see is look at how, of course, Shane Green did it a couple times last night, but look at overall the pitching staff and how many times they don't shake off what d'Arnaud calls. That's why he's behind there. It's not necessarily for his bat. Of course, he can explode just like anybody. Just like Josh Wyatt said, it's due for an explosion. But he can explode just like anybody else in the lineup. But the reason he's staying in my opinion, is because of the way he catches behind the plate. I don't think it's necessarily for his bat. It's for his bat as well, but it's not necessarily all for his bat. You have to remember, these pitchers obviously like d'Arnaud behind the plate. And when you have a young staff like Ian Anderson in Game 7, and of course Max Fried, that is irreplaceable. And, not to say that Tyler Flowers isn't good behind the plate, but I don't think he's as good as d'Arnaud. I think we all can sort of agree there. We've seen that in the past couple of years. He's getting older. I think, I would rather him be in the lineup for sure. But you're asking me if we could move him to 5 and put Albies back to the 2-hole because Albies has been one of the hottest hitters. To tell you the truth, I kind of like the fact that we're keeping the same lineup. Not to say that I disagree with you, but I like think about this. You got Acuna leading off. You got Freddie in the 2-hole. You got Marcell Ozuna. And then the lineup all the way through doesn't really have a hole. I know d'Arnaud's been, quote-unquote, struggling, but the guy's been on base. I think he had 4 walks going into yesterday's game through the series. So, I don't know. I think I would personally rather, one, leave him in the lineup, leave him behind the plate, unless he's just telling you that he's thoroughly exhausted. But I think he's got to battle his way out of it. I don't think it's a day off situation. And when you're facing elimination, the guy that's getting paid, the money that Darno's getting paid is the one that's going to be in the lineup. I've not facing elimination, but you have a chance to clinch. He's going to be in the lineup today. I believe he already is. When when we win, I'm not going to jinx that. When we win, who would be the MVP of the series, Freeman or Ozuna? I don't know, man. I don't care either way. I just want to win the series. Either one would be fine with me, to tell you the truth. Right now, I think Ozuna might have the lead there, but Freeman would be a good pick too. I'm loving Pache. Think he is the day one center fielder next year. Absolutely, I do. I thought Pache would be the everyday center fielder halfway through the year. Yeah, I think he'll be there next year. I do, because he's proven himself. He got a homer the other day when no one else could hit. He caught a homer. He caught what would have been a homer last night. I know he missed one too, but he caught one just the same. So, yeah, I think he's the everyday center fielder. I think if you don't remember, Acuna was being placed in right and left a good bit through the year, and I think that was in anticipation for Pache's arrival. So, yeah, I think he'll be the everyday center fielder. I don't know. I would personally like to see Duvall back next year in particular, but I don't know who's going to come back, to tell you the truth. I think we're going to have a transitional period with guys like Duvall and Marcaikus into guys like Pache and Drew Waters, because those guys are arriving soon, or they could get traded, one or the other. But there are a lot of options that the Braves have in the outfield, but I do think he's the day one center fielder. I don't see why he wouldn't be, personally. Next few days, I don't think Tyler will be back next year. I think we're going to call up Contreras. No, he won't be back next year. His contract ends at the end of this year. It wouldn't surprise me if he hung him up. Yeah, I think Contreras is the next guy. I completely agree with that statement. Pache is looking like he should have been here since opening day, but what you didn't see is how much he did at the training site. That's the question. We didn't have a minor league year. You remember a couple years ago, Austin Riley was tearing it up in the minors, and then he got called up, and he immediately hits a homer and goes on a tear in the month of May. And we were like, why hasn't he been here all year long? And then he started slumping, and everybody was like, well, this guy's no good. And now look at it. It's so hard to say. We don't have eyes on these guys every day. I wish we did. I wish we knew everything, but we don't, especially this year. I really think that you have to understand that this staff knows what they're doing. They brought up Ian Anderson at the perfect time. They knew when he was ready. They brought, guys like Mike Soroka, Max Fried. They were ready, but they were young, but they were ready. Not everybody is going to be ready at that age. Not everybody's going to be ready at that point. So who knows if Pache was ready at the beginning of this year? Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. Regardless, he's here now. He's in the postseason, and he's performing exceptionally well. I hope to see him as the everyday center fielder next year, but we're going to have to wait and see if that happens. I personally would like to see it, though. I hope our batters will be disciplined at the plate and not straight hacking to get things going early in the game. Well, they got things going early in the game, but when the Dodgers got up, they couldn't get anything going late in the game, which is is typical. Is atypical, rather. It's very atypical of the Braves. It's usually the other way around. But yeah, I hope we're a little bit more disciplined tonight, and I think we will be. You got to think we saw like 10 different pitchers last night, So, and I don't know. Not to mention when you're facing a guy like Gratterall and players like that. I mean, they performed against him the other night, but last night they were just on their game. I don't know who will be the ump behind the plate for today's game. As long as it's not Angel Hernandez, I don't really care. To tell you the truth. Should Ender be looking on Indeed for a job? Yeah, probably. He probably needs to check out somewhere like Detroit. I don't think he's got Ender. I just don't think he has the bat. I think he has the fielding. It hasn't been there this year, but I think that's, it's not typical of Ender. I think he'll be back in the majors next year. I just don't think he will be I just don't think he's going to be with the Braves. I think he's going to try somewhere like Detroit or maybe, Miami. I think he's going to try to find maybe Baltimore. Maybe that'll be a good fit for him. I just don't think somebody like Ender is got a place on the Braves, at least not every day. Ender, he doesn't hit the ball hard. He can't. He just doesn't. He's not a playmaker. And if you look down the lineup, everybody in the Braves lineup is a playmaker. So I just don't see him. I I just don't see it happening. Should Austin Riley be our permanent third baseman or another player? I've answered this question a lot in the past 2 years, especially when Donaldson was here. I think Austin Riley is the future. I think he's the permanent third baseman. Of course, we had to move him into left field in certain situations, but I think he's your third baseman. I think he's your next big thing at third base. I mean, I'm not going to say he's the next Chipper Jones because that's unfair to him. That's unfair to Chipper. But the guy's a stud. Look how he plays third base. I think he's one of the best young third basemen in the game right now. Just in fielding. And then, of course, he also has the potential to hit a 448-foot shot off you at any time. So, yeah, I think he's your permanent third baseman. Of course, right now in the postseason, anything can happen. It wouldn't surprise me if we saw him in left field again. But right now, I want him at third base personally. Do you think the Astros pull off the comeback? I'm not going to bet against them. I don't want it to happen, but I am not going to bet against them. The Astros have been very impressive these past few games, and when you get into a situation that the Rays are in right now, anyone can win. I personally don't want the Astros in the World Series. I like Dusty Baker, but those guys, I just don't want them back in there personally. But they could. Anything can happen today. I don't know, though. We're going to have to wait and see. Tyler Duncan, do you think we should be concerned about Will Smith? Minimally, yes. He's not going anywhere. He'll be with the Braves next year and all that good stuff. He's been a little bit iffy these past couple of appearances. Obviously, last night he gave up a big homer, but I don't know. I think the offense only putting up 3 runs wasn't going to win that game last night anyway, no matter who was on the mound. I'm not concerned necessarily. You got to think the guy was battling COVID at the beginning of the year. He's had an excellent comeback. But I'm not concerned. I would like to see him come in and have a 3-batter inning, but that just hasn't been the case lately. Feel like we made a bad choice yesterday taking Minter out early. I don't. I think they took him out at the perfect time. He was the guy you thought you were going to get an inning out of, and you got 3, and I don't think they wanted to push any harder and, risk injury because that guy, he's not used to pitching 4 innings. But I thought he gave you a third of the game scoreless with 7 strikeouts. You can't ask for much more. And you don't know if Minter went into that dugout and said, yeah, I'm exhausted, take me out, because he didn't want to risk anything, anything in the team. Yeah, I know he struck out 7 of 9, but you don't know how tired he was. You don't know. It's not fair to say I think we should have done that because he's a guy that we've never seen go that far in a game. The last time he started a game was in college. He was at Texas A&M. So it's not fair to say, well, I think we should have left him in when you don't know what happened when he went into the dugout. You don't know the conversation that took place. And you got to think, not to mention, we have a bullpen that's one of the best bullpens in the game, right? I think we pulled him at the right time. I just don't think we wanted to push any further. God forbid we go to a game 7. Maybe he can come in. He won't come in today. They emptied the tank on him last night. I just think we pulled him at the right time. Not to mention he wasn't performing as efficient as he did in 1 and 2. I mean, yeah, he had some strikeouts, but they were higher counts. I think he had 26 pitches to finish off the night. Don't quote me on that, but it was something around that ballpark. I believe he had 26 pitches to finish his night, and that's significantly more than what he usually pitches. I think they pulled him at the right time. I don't think he was going to go 6 innings. He's not he's not trained to pitch that much. Yeah, if we left Minter in, people would be saying what people are saying about Kershaw staying in too long. Completely agree. I completely agree. I don't think that's fair because what if he came in the 4th inning and immediately gave up 3 homers or something? You can't dictate what's going on in his mind. You don't know you don't know the conversation that's being had in the dugout. If he was a starting pitcher, typically, I would agree with you, but he's not. But then we put in Webb and Smith, which blew the game. Okay, here's the thing, though. You have to put in Will Smith. He's one of the fundamental parts of this bullpen. You have to put him in. He's got to work. And, again, not to say that this was a throwaway game because it's not. It's a postseason game. But if you look at the overall picture, Max Fried game 1, Ian Anderson game 2, Kyle Wright game 3, that became a bullpen game. Okay, we end up losing that one 15-3. So you're up 2-1. Game 4 was game 4. You had Bryce Wilson, who performed exceptionally, and we ended up winning that game. But now, now you're at a point where it's like, okay, we can afford to lose one game, but because you have the next two pitchers in line, Max Fried and Ian Anderson, who both of these teams did not win against. So I think we pulled them at the right time. That's all I'm really going to say about it. All right, let me make sure I didn't miss anybody. All right. I agree, but Webb, I wouldn't have went there. I would have. Webb has been an exceptional piece in the bullpen, and he hasn't gotten a lot of work. I know he didn't have a great performance last night, but he's been a good guy. He's been a good guy out of the pen this year. A very unexpected guy, just like Minter has been very unexpectedly has been good. Can we also stop the fire Snick comments, because this series is tough to navigate? Yeah, the fire Snick comments need to chill. One, it's his birthday, so lay off. But two, the guy has been a manager of the year 2 years in a row. He took a team that wasn't supposed to make it and took them to a division series in 2018. Took them again in 2019. Took them again in 2020. It's now the National Championship Series with with the lead, and the next game clinches. He's 27 outs from headed to the World Series. Fire Snit is the dumbest thing I've heard out of a Braves fan this year, personally. Yeah, but when we put in Webb and Smith, which blew the game, no. The offense only scored 3 runs, and Smith, I would say, one, I don't think that's fair. I just don't. Smith, I was completely fine with, but Webb, wrong choice with him. Tell me why that was the wrong choice. I need to know why that was the wrong choice. Will Smith is your $13 million receiver. You have to receiver. I'm thinking football. Will Smith is your $13 reliever. You have to trust him. Yeah, I agree. That's what I'm trying to say. You have to trust him. I don't trust him today either. I don't want to see him today, but you do have to trust him in a bullpen game. It's basic, not to say it's Johnny Holstaff, because it's not, but in a bullpen game, you have to let your relievers go. This was a chance to give players work. Shane Green hasn't been fundamentally great in the past few games either. They let him work. We're not talking about that in this comment section. We're not talking about Shane Green, who struggled at this postseason because he performed well. When you bring in a bunch of arms like that, someone is not going to be on their game. It's just a matter. It's just a part of it. When you bring in that many arms, you're risking one of these arms not being on point. Of course, it was 2 arms last night, Jacob Webb and Will Smith. But you look at Jacob's Webb stats through the year. They're exceptional. Will Smith had a bad night last night. It's going to happen. It's the postseason. I don't know if you guys know this, but baseball's hard. Postseason baseball's harder. I don't know that you can blame that necessarily on a choice made by the manager. I just don't see that happening. That's just not how I view that. Muncy had one job, and it was to strike out. What? I don't know what you're saying there. Matzik looks so much better, in my opinion. Yeah, Matzik looks. He gave up a homer too, though. Don't forget, he gave up a homer too. But yeah, I agree with you. Will had one job. Hey, it's not that easy. It's just not. Snit has proven his worth to this team. Anyone who says that isn't realistic at all. Yeah, here's what I'm going to say. If you want to fire Snicker, if you're in this chat and you want to fire Snicker, tell me a manager that would be better that's on the market. And if you tell me AJ Hinch, that's irrelevant. Tell me a manager that's on the market right now that would be better than Brian Snicker for this team, because I don't think there is one. And I don't think those guys on the Braves team would say that there's anyone any better, personally. If you don't remember, in whatever the year that Freddie Gonzalez got fired, Freddie Freeman, they all vouched, all the players that were on the team at the time vouched for Snicker. Okay, I think he's the guy. I do. And if we're going to fire Snicker, I think that would be a very poor decision, frankly. I think Acuna's hand is hurting. He just isn't showing it. I don't think so. If you go back and you watch that play, he didn't roll on his hand. Nothing like that really happened. But I don't think that's – he might be battling a little thing, but I don't think that's enough to influence his game, personally. Is Pache stepping up since Duvall getting hurt? Great piece in the coming years. Completely agree with you. The more postseason, the harder it is. Yeah. The longer it goes on, the worse. So I'd like to win today. Is it smart to put late innings today? I don't know. I'm not. Unfortunately, I'm not super educated on his abilities. He's a young player. I don't know how much we trust him. He gave you all. He emptied the tank the other day. I just don't know if that amount of turnaround is enough for him. I just don't know if we've seen that out of him this year, obviously. So I just don't know about that. Yeah, Ron Washington has been a manager. I know that. I just maybe after Snitker retires, but I don't think you fire Snit to then pull up Ron Washington. Just don't see it. Ron Washington does a great job with the players, and I like him in that role. How are you feeling about today's game? I'm feeling great about today's game. I can't wait to turn it on and watch it in a little while. I think Max Fried being on the mound is going to be good for the Braves, and hopefully he'll go 6 innings. I feel good about the offense. I think we're due for an explosion, as someone earlier on says. I think we're going to be good. Thoughts on Pache? I feel great about Pache. I think he's had a great postseason so far. I actually witnessed his first homer the other day. And of course, he caught a homer last night. So I think he's going to be a great piece for the future. Keep that in mind. He is for the future. We need to break Buehler. We've done it before. Buehler, if I'm correct here, Buehler has not beaten the Braves in the postseason. He has not. So just keep that in mind. Could it happen today? Maybe. But he hasn't done it yet. At least we stopped them at 7 runs after the 6. Yeah, they kind of got shut down. I was thinking the Braves might make a run at it, but it ended up not happening. No momentum. Yeah, that was the big talking point the other day, was that the Dodgers had the momentum going into Game 3. So I trust the Braves. Like Josh Wyatt says, I trust the Braves. I think they've performed exceptionally well. They've exceeded expectations all year long. And think about this, man. They have lost so much this year. They have lost tons of pitching to COVID. They've lost a lot of players to injuries, Acuna, Albies. I trust the Braves. I trust the manager and Snitker. I think we're going to be good. The main thing was the Ozuna play. Yeah, I agree with that. Ozuna's play did kind of take the momentum out of the air for the Braves a little bit last night. But I don't think that's – I think it was just – we're forgetting something here. The Dodgers are a good team. They are. They're in the postseason. They are in the National League Championship Series. They have been to the World Series 8 times in the past number of years. They are a very good team. They are hard to beat, and we have a lead on them. Just take a breath here for a second. We have a lead on the Dodgers. Be excited. It's unfortunate that we a good team. I know that it gets, after that 15-3 performance the other night, I know it put a bad taste in our mouth. I know it put a bad taste in our mouth to lose last night. Of course, we'd like to sweep them. But going into this series, we knew that wasn't going to happen. We knew that was not going to happen. I just don't think that we can just look at this from the outside and go, well, what about this? What about this? The postseason is difficult to navigate. As someone else in this chat said earlier, it's difficult to navigate. Snitker has only been to 3 postseasons, okay? He has gone from being a National League to just being in the postseason, okay, 2 years in a row, to now being in the National League Championship Series with the lead on the Dodgers, okay? The Dodgers that have been there before, the Dodgers that have gone to the World Series. I don't think it's fair to sit out here and criticize one little thing, especially when he's limited in starting pitching, the most fundamental part of a baseball team. I don't think that's fair. So that's how I feel about that. I'm just sorry for the rant, but that's how I feel about it. All right, let's go back a few years. How do you feel about John Coppolella? I like John Coppolella. He's probably a fundamental reason why the Braves are at where they're at right now. Obviously, it didn't end well, but yeah, I don't mind John Coppolella. Is Camargo a better postseason player than Marcaikus? That's a small sample size. I like Marcaikus in the lineup. I do. And I know that's not necessarily a popular opinion as of late because he's struggling, but Marcaikus does something in the lineup that a lot of other players don't do. And one of those players being Johan Camargo. And I like Johan, but Camargo is a guy who's looking for the base hit, looking for the homer, looking for, he's not one to take a walk. He's not one to, drop a bunt. Nick Marcaikus will gladly flip the field. He will gladly put a bunt down if need be. He's a good hitter, and he's a different style hitter. He's more dynamic. Johan Camargo is similar to facing like a Pache to me, and I don't mean that in terms of they have similar abilities, but they're the same type of hitter. I think Nick Marcaikus puts something a little bit different. He's more of a guy who just wants a base hit, and that kind of dynamic allows him to see more pitches, allows the guy after him to see more pitches, and I think it overall benefits the lineup. I don't know if he's a better postseason player, but I don't think that's a fair question. I think you have to look more just who provides more to the lineup, and to me, it's Marcaikus. Bueller is borrowing Ozzy's pants tonight. I think that's horrible. Not the time or the place, Evan. Not the time or the place. Score prediction for tonight's game. I offered a score prediction the other day, and it was nowhere close. But I'll gladly give it to you. Let me think. You got Walker Bueller on the mound. You got Max Fried on the mound. So low scoring early on. I think the Braves go, I'll say 6-3. 6-3 Braves. Probably not going to be anywhere near it with my luck, but I'll say 6-3 Braves. Let me see. I'm glad to play Marcaikus. Oh, I'm glad Marcaikus is in instead of Camargo. Probably not as much pop, but playoff experience is very, very important. And then, of course, we can debate this all day long, Camargo or Marcaikus. I'd rather Marcaikus be in. That's just my opinion. And also, when you have Camargo in, you got to put Austin Riley in the outfield, and I think Austin Riley is a better third baseman than Camargo. And I think Marcaikus is a better outfielder than Austin Riley. So at the end of the day, it's all about matchups, and I get that. But in the field, I like that situation better. What do you think happened to Adam Duvall? He pulled an oblique. I thought we all knew that. Camargo has had some good at-bats. I agree with you. I saw one of his good at-bats where he had 2 foul balls that were missiles and would have been homers. So I agree with you. But at the same time, I would rather Marcaikus be in. I just would. What do you think happened? Okay, got that. Do you think Pache could have caught the first homer? Yes, if he took a better route, but unfortunately he did not. That just was not in the works. So let me see. I would love to see the Braves spend a crap ton of money for Trevor Bauer. Yeah, me too. Believe it or not, the Braves are the most financial team in MLB, according to A-Rod. Maybe. Lead off Ronnie Baum. I'm calling it. I'm here for it. Exactly. You can't. Austin Riley right now, he's been dominant at the corner. Yeah, you can't get rid of Austin Riley. I'm sorry. You just can't. I'd rather him be at third base than anybody else on the roster. That's just my opinion there. And I know it's, some people disagree with it. Some people agree with it. It's kind of a talking point right now in Braves country. But I want Austin Riley at the corner. I don't want him in left field. I just would personally rather him be at third base. We're going to wrap this up in just a minute. So get any questions you got in here, and then I'll get to it. But I got to get out of here in just a minute. But yeah, Austin Riley is a guy I want, 1 in the lineup and 2 at third base. And if that means Nick Marcaikus is in the outfield, I'll take it because, frankly, I like Nick Marcaikus in the lineup. We have guys up and down the lineup that can perform. Nick Marcaikus is a veteran. And you don't know another thing, the team dynamic. You don't know if Marcaikus is going in there going, okay, guys, it's slider, fastball, slider. You don't know what kind of conversations are being had. I don't know that Johan Camargo is a guy that can do that. And there's a reason Nick Marcaikus is in the lineup. And I truly believe he drives he drives the Braves forward more so than Camargo. Keep in mind, Camargo was in AAA not too long ago, and if he was as good as Marcaikus, Austin Riley would be in the outfield. So I personally think that's the situation here. Nick shouldn't be starting this pivotal game. I disagree. Ronnie is due for a homer. Hopefully we'll get it today. He's due for some base hits. That's all I want to see, some base hits. Should we expect Drew Waters in left field in 2021 or 2022? Yes. I don't know which year, but yes. Which team would be a better matchup for the Braves in the World Series, Rays or Astros? I think we would kill the Astros. I don't necessarily want to face them just because, the Atlanta curse. I really don't want to lose to the Astros. Either team would be fine with me. I think if we beat the Dodgers, we can beat either one of those teams. Who do you think of our starting pitching will return to the 5 next year? Max Fried, Ian Anderson, Kyle Wright, and or Bryce Wilson, maybe. Bryce Wilson, after that performance, he can do whatever he wants, in my opinion. But I think you'll have Soroka next year. I think we'll be set on starting pitching next year. I do. Kyle Wright will be older. Keep in mind, I know everybody's upset about that 15-3 performance the other night out of Kyle Wright, but keep in mind Tom Glavine had a very similar performance in the '92 NLCS. The next night was Sid Bream's slide, and then Tom Glavine became a Hall of Fame pitcher. So just keep that in mind. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's too young. It's too early to just say that he's no good. Kyle Wright could easily be in the rotation next year. What do you think of the Dodger bias by everyone in the booth, even John Smoltz? I haven't got to see a lot of the games. I've heard about this. I haven't got to watch a lot of the games. Last night I was working. I was sort of listening to it. I had Joe Simpson and Ben Ingram in my ear. But, and of course I was at Game 3, so I haven't really seen a lot of these games. I don't think we can say that John Smoltz is biased for the Dodgers. I don't think that's fair. I think he's more than likely trying to not be biased for the Braves in a way. Everyone in the booth, look, the Dodgers are a good team, guys. And you have to, if we're not watching the Braves broadcast, you're watching a national broadcast, and the Dodgers are a national team. I'm just saying. I feel Ronnie is home run or bust right now. Maybe. I would like to see some base hits, though. Man, oh man, I don't think I can watch if this goes 7. Yeah, I'm probably not going to watch either. I don't want to jinx anything. I heard so many times the other day that I jinxed us in Game 3 by going, and I don't believe in jinxes. I just don't. If it goes to Game 7, how do you feel about our chances of winning? Just as good as I do right now. Ian Anderson on the mound. I would feel fine. If it goes to Game 7, I would be nervous, but not I wouldn't. I'm not so nervous that I can't stand it. We have a few expendables to trade. Would you prefer to look for top prospects since we have a very complete team? We don't have a very complete team. We don't have starting pitching. We might next year when we get Soroka back, but we're not getting Soroka back till halfway through the year. I would like to see us make some moves for starting pitching, primarily Trevor Bauer. I don't know if that's a possibility, but primarily Trevor Bauer. If the Braves lose Game 6, okay, I already answered that. Is Ozzy using Brian McCann bats? Apparently he is. They zoomed in on it the other day. That's kind of a strange thing, I like it though. If it makes him perform like he's been performing, I really like it. It's hilarious. See you, man. Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate it. Who do you think we should put in after Freed? Whoever's not tired. Yesterday was a bullpen game. Maybe Inoa, that's been mentioned a couple times. But I think you would. Did we use Melanson last night? I don't think we did. So Melanson would probably come in. Chris Martin would probably come in. I think we have plenty. I'm not worried about that, especially if Freed goes 5-6 innings. I think we'll be fine. Ozzy Albies is jawing Brian McCann's bat. Appreciate it, Josh. Thank you. Do you think it's Bauer or Ozuna, or do you think we can get both? I think there's definitely interest for Ozuna. I don't know about Bauer. Bauer's a strange bird. He's going to go wherever the wind takes him, it seems. So we'll have to see. Well, hope we take it home. Good talking to you. Appreciate it, Ligo. Palmer, 2021 rotation, Freed, Soroka, Bauer, Anderson, and Wright, and Wilson. I think it's going to be kind of interchangeable. I think we're going to see a lot of different scenarios next year. These guys are still young. This could have been a one and done out of Bryce Wilson. I hope not, but it could be. So just keep that in mind. It wasn't that long ago we were thinking Bryce Wilson was a bust. So just keep that in mind. But I am excited for his future, that's for sure. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to go gear up for the game. Of course, you got the Braves tonight at 4, and you have Alabama, Georgia tonight. I don't know about you guys, but I'm going for Alabama. Of course, we'll be watching along with you. Go Braves tonight, as Tyler Duncan said. Will they win Game 6? Let me know down below. And I'm going to get out of here. Max Fried's on the mound facing Buehler tonight. We will have a recap of that tomorrow. We'll either do a live or we'll do a recap for you guys. We will have content for you regardless. So to see that, make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Hit the bell for notifications so that you know every time I go live so you can watch these. And, the most important thing you can do for me right now is probably like this video. There's 21 of you watching. Only 9 of you have liked, so make sure you like on your way out. I do appreciate it. It really helps me out. and gets this to a broader audience. And we've been growing a lot this season, and I appreciate it if we continue to do so in the off season. So I'm going to get out of here. Chop on, baby. Next time we talk to you will be before the World Series. Yeah, I got a World Series ball right there. So hopefully that is the case. Let's end this thing today. I'm with you guys. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.